All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the stream. So it's so funny. I muted myself, and there's still a window somewhere where I'm not muted. Anyways, so today I thought we'd do something entirely different than usually. So I see a couple of well-known faces. I don't really see your faces. I see your avatars and your names on screen. And I see a couple of well-known people. So you know that we usually work on a knowledge base, knowledge management application or a second brain application. But this time around, I thought we'd do something completely different. And that has to do with a couple of things. One, last time on the stream, we refactored the application and worked a lot on turning it into a more modular application. And that was a lot of work and a lot of moving of stuff around. And I felt it might have been a little bit boring, right? So you were watching me basically creating new packages, moving stuff from here to there, copying things, compiling a lot, waiting a lot for the compiler, and I felt like, oh, maybe this was a little bit boring. So I thought this time around we'd do something more interactive, more fun, more engaging, and maybe even more challenging. So the first thing I thought about was, why don't we do an AMA? And you can ask me anything you like. And we can always do that, right? So if you have any question for me, you can always ask it on the live chat, and I will, if it's not super personal, I will answer it. So we can do that always. And thanks, Lars, for saying that it wasn't boring. That is very encouraging. It's always good to hear that the stuff is interesting for people and that people take stuff away. That's really great to hear. So the AMA was one idea that I had. And then as I was working on my newsletter for this week, I realized that there was something that I was interested in personally and that I wanted to look into deeper, but didn't have enough time to do it. And then I thought, oh, why don't we use the time on the stream to do that together? And that was MCP, or the Model Context Protocol. So to give you just a very rough idea of what it is, and you probably already know what it is if you're on the stream, but anyways. So the Model Context Protocol, and why don't we pull it up so that we can read it from the people who built it themselves. So let's go to, oh, look at that. I need to reconfigure this. Okay. Great. So here we are. And let's find this. Okay, here we go. So the Model Context Protocol is an open source protocol. Let's make this larger. That enables seamless integration between LLM applications and external data sources and tools, whether you're building an AI-powered IDE, enhancing a chat interface, or creating custom AI workflows. MCP provides a standardized way to connect LLMs with the context they need. All right, so that is what it is, but what can you do with it? So a while ago, a couple of weeks ago, I already talked about this on the newsletter, and I installed a tool that actually can do this. So let's see. So the problem is that I've never signed in this browser because this is my personal browser. So and I'm mostly signed in on my corp browser. So I'm signing in offline. Okay, and that requires me to go to my inbox. And while I'm doing that, I can open Claude. There we go. Okay. Cool. So this is Claude, and I'm using Claude because it has an integration with MCP. I mean, the protocol was literally built by Anthropic, so they are the people who built this, so they should have an integration with their own thing, right? So here is the desktop version of Claude, and if I sign in on the browser, and let me do that real quick. Okay, so this is done. Okay, so this should be ready. Okay, so I'm in the same account here, so, and you can see a slight difference. So if we go over here, you notice that down here I have a couple of extra buttons, and so here I've got the plus button to attach something, I've got the settings button, but here I've got two extra buttons, and one of them is a button that I can use to attach to an MCP server, and the other one is a list of the tools that I've got available. And these tools here are from an MCP server that I wrote about, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's called IMCP. It's written by Matt Thompson, who is a well-known person in the iOS and Swift community. And he worked on building an SDK for building Swift-based MCP servers. So here we can see the tools, and if I go to my menu bar and pull this down, so this is the MCP server that we're using. And you can see that it's plugged into a couple of services. So the calendar, the contacts, the location, messages, reminder, and weather. So if I go here, and you see that I already started doing this, so let's start a new chat to get like the real experience. So I'm here, and then I can say stuff like, show me the weather in my current location. So now it says, I'll help you to check the weather, and then I get this pop-up here requesting permission to use the IMCP server. And it says, I want to run the current location tool. Here is the input. So there is no input because it says, give me the current location. And I'm going to go ahead and approve this call. So now it gets the geo coordinates, and here we see the geo coordinates. And it now wants to pass those geo coordinates into the get current weather for location tool. So allow for this chat, and now it's passing in my geolocation, and the current temperature is 7.8 degrees Celsius, wind speed 10.8, and looking at my watch, it says 8 degrees. I mean, that's that's the data that the internet tells to my watch, so apparently that is kind of accurate. So, and let's see, so we've got 2 additional lines of output here. And for example, if we look at this output from get current location from IMCP, it says, okay, so here is your current location. And then we can see this call here where it passes in the location, and then we can see the result of this call. Great. So let's see if we can build something like that ourselves. So what I wanted to do is, and I have absolutely no idea if we'll succeed doing this, today, but let's give it a try. So I've always wanted to have something that I can use to drive my Keynote presentation. So why not build something that allows me to go into my chat application and say, hey, I want to build a Keynote presentation. Let's brainstorm a couple of ideas. And then once we've brainstormed the ideas, ask the chatbot to create this presentation for me. So how should this work? And maybe in the background, you've already seen that I've looked up a couple of things, right? So I'm not completely unprepared. I did a little bit of research to figure out is it possible or not. And I think it should be possible. So you might know that on macOS, there is this scripting tool, API, language, whatever you want to call it, and it's called AppleScript. And let me bring up the AppleScript editor. And for example, so this is the AppleScript editor is a tool that is installed on every macOS system. And let's look at how a typical script will look like. Let's see. I think they have, I wanted to new from template, open dictionary. I was looking for, they have a template folder that has some really nice examples. So where is that? It's not this one. Well, anyways, we'll just use one of these, and hopefully you'll get an idea. Okay. So in this example, we're using the Messages app. So you need to tell the AppleScript editor, hey, I want to use a specific application. And here we say we want to use the Messages application. And then it will react to an event, and it will, so on this event with this message given some specific class, it will do something with the chat. So I think, yeah, this is not a really amazing example, I think. So what does it say? This routine automatically accepts a text chat invitation for specified buddies. Set this name to the name of this buddy. Okay, so I think if we uncommented this, it would do something. But I don't want to play around with messages. I want to work with Keynote. So what I did was I looked around and I tried to find out, is there a way how we can interact with Keynote? So here on the developer forums, there is this this question where somebody asked, hey, can I use AppleScript to drive Keynote? And then it says, Keynote has an AppleScript dictionary that provides the reserved words that you can use to control the application. In Script Editor, choose File, Menu, Open Dictionary, and select Keynote. So I've already done this, but let's do this again. File, Open Dictionary. And now you see a list of all the applications that support AppleScript. And there is like a bunch of them. And interestingly, even Xcode supports AppleScript. But we want to do something with Keynote. So I choose Keynote, and then I'll open this, and now I get this, it's kind of like an object browser, right? So, and you can see that here I've got the Keynote suite, and then there is a bunch of classes or objects. For example, the application class, and it's got a theme enumeration, I'm guessing, or an export maybe. There is a document, And down here, you can see the documentation about it, right? So for example, here, there are a bunch of properties on the document, so we can probably turn on and off whether or not the slide numbers should be showing. We can apply a theme, then some settings about auto looping and auto playing and stuff like that. So that looks very interesting for driving the presentation. And then somebody had put together a lot of information about how to actually use that. So let's take a look at this. So for example here, new presentation from Outline. And this really sounds a lot like what we might be interested in. So yeah, so this is really interesting. So this first sentence here, part of the, why can't I select? That's so funny. Let's turn off the click events. Part of the fundamental magic of automation is its inherent ability to express the data contained in one application in a different way in another application. So, and in this case, the idea is they're using an outliner, Omni Outliner, to draft the outline of the presentation and then take that and turn it into a slide deck in Keynote. So, it explains how this works. I don't have Omni Outliner installed, but I think here is the script. So by looking at the script, we can probably guess how this works, right? So there are a couple of properties that we set. And here in the first step, it says, okay, we want to work with the Omni Outliner application. It displays a dialog with some information, and then it tries to get the first document, and then it gets the number of sections in that document. Then it goes over to the Keynote application. It sets the theme name. So it's so interesting, right? So if you look at this sentence, set the theme names to the name of every theme, that is, it sounds like it might either be just a plain assignment or it's a loop of sorts, right, to every theme. So, okay, so this is something with theming. Then it allows us to choose whether we want to have widescreen or standard size slides and so on and so forth. Right, and then it goes back to Omni Outliner and it seems to walk through the section and gets the children of the section. And this apparently has to do with the bullets. So it's parsing all the information from Omni Outliner and then it goes back. So I wonder, where do they store this stuff? Tell application, tell a front document, repeat, tell a child. Okay, so set this section text. Okay, so this section text apparently contains something. Paragraph count as well. Oh, and here we go. This slide title, this slide body, and so on and so forth. Okay, so then it goes to Keynote, deletes the first slide, and then it starts creating slides. Okay, so all of the stuff, how to extract stuff from Omni Outliner, that's not really interesting for us, but this part here, creating slides, that is interesting for us. Okay, so, and Franklin, we will absolutely try to do vibe coding. There's no way I can write any of this. Let's see. Okay, what else do we need? Oh yeah, so I think first I want to try if we can actually remotely control Keynote from an iOS or Xcode application. So, and I think I asked Claude about this already. Okay. Or maybe I did a plain old Google search. Who knows? Oh no, here we are. Yeah, can you call this from a Swift app? Yes, you can call AppleScript from a Swift app using Apple's scripting bridge or the NS-AppleScript class. Here are two approaches. Okay, so yeah, why don't you try this? Let's get Xcode. Okay. And we want a new project. And it's, I'm guessing, let's see, is this going to be a command line tool or not? Where is, we don't know, import Cocoa. Let's create a macOS application. So, and we'll call it MC or Keynote Demo 1. And then Keynote MCP, a new folder, code. Oh, nope. Hello. No. Code. Okay, Keynote Demo 1. Let's remove all of this and then add a button. Create slide deck. And then let's get the code and create a new file. Oh, it doesn't know that is Swift. Keynote driver dot Swift. Okay, nice. Okay, let's remove this for a moment. So, does it compile? Build succeeded. Nice. Okay. And then we will just call this from here. Sure, but why? That is interesting. It is a function. Oh, you know what? Like, we'll just put it over here. Okay. Nice. So this still works. Running. Okay, so now, okay, maybe we should take a look at what is supposed to happen. So when we run the script, supposedly it will tell the application Keynote to set new presentation to make new document. Okay, creating new presentation with the default theme. And then get the first slide. Oh yeah, when you create a new Keynote document, you always have there is one slide in there. So it will get the first slide, and then it will set the title to my new presentation created with Swift and AppleScript, and it creates the second slide, and then it saves the presentation We'll do that later, maybe. So, but let's do it. So, where is the application here? Create slide deck. What's happening? Is something happening? I don't see anything happening. Okay. Is there any? Okay, here's debug output. Error executing Apple script. Application isn't running. I don't know. Seems to be running fine. I mean, I can close it and we can try it again. Okay, so okay, no. Okay. No problem. We'll just go and ask Claude about it. When I run the create keynote presentation function, I get, let's see. You're getting this error because AppleScript is trying to communicate with Keynote, but Keynote isn't currently running on your system. Well, that's wrong. I clearly saw it running. To fix this, you need to modify your Swift code to launch Keynote before executing the AppleScript. Yeah, we can do that. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. We'll just do that. Copy. Back to Xcode. And let's try this again. Okay, Is it starting? I can't see it. Nope. Application isn't running. Okay. Right. It still isn't working. Also, it doesn't work even if I launch Keynote manually before running the function. Permission problems, sandboxing restrictions, script syntax or compatibility issues. Let's try a completely different approach. No, okay, let's do it. Yeah, we can get rid of that as well. Here we are. Yeah, we only need to import Cocoa once. Okay, so let's set a breakpoint here. Oh, okay, yeah. Let's fix these. I mean, that is one of the problems, right? Because those things that are so old that stuff has moved on since, and the model knowledge is probably outdated. Okay, so let's execute this, and then we will get an error back. Okay, so here's our error. No, there isn't. Oh. Okay. Interesting. Well, application isn't running. Okay, so so in here it says tell application keynote activate. So let's take a look at this thing again. Yeah, so tell application keynote. Okay, I remember it did have a couple of other suggestions as well. So so here it suggests using NS user script task. So what is the idea here? The idea is to, you know what we'll do first. So I want to know if this thing even does something meaningful. So let's take this entire script here, and then go into script editor, create a new file, and paste this whole thing here. Okay, let's see if this runs. Running. Okay, so apparently this does do something. Okay, very interesting. So we'll first work on making this script work. Okay. I have an Apple script that tries to communicate with Keynote. Okay, so we'll give it that, and then I'll get the error message. So it describes what it does, so that's great, but I get the following error message. So oh, we've got two Daniels on the stream. Hey Daniel, and hey Daniel. It's good to have you all. Okay, so what is the problem with this error? That error message points to a problem with accessing the slide layouts. So we've got a fix for the layout, so I don't really care what this is at this moment. The only thing I care about is, does it work? You can't get theme. Okay, at this point, I'm just going to paste the error message. Try this modified version. Okay, yeah, okay, let's try this one. Well, it's quite interesting that it already assumes that this might not work. Oh, good. So now I get this permission dialog, and that means it's trying to save the file in your desktop folder. Okay, and here we go. Well, I can see it, but you can't see it. Where is my desktop? Swift created presentation. My new presentation. Boom! There we go. Yeah, nice. Okay, so My new presentation created with Swift and AppleScript. And then we've got the second slide, automation capabilities. Great. So this script works. Let's close this. Ooh, that is interesting. Where's this coming from? Okay, so it seems that one version of the script must have worked. We just didn't see it. It is a challenge. Okay. Yeah, so Daniel, we're beginning with baby steps. So we don't have an MCP server yet. We're just, at this point, I'm working on an AppleScript. So this year, this is the AppleScript editor, and we've just managed to put together a script. So we've used Claude to write us a script that creates this slide. So the next thing that I want to do is take this code and run this from a Swift application. Once we've got that running, we will write an MCP server and connect that MCP server to Claude, and then control the MCP server by talking to the model. Yeah, but exactly, that is the stack, because Keynote doesn't have any other API, right? So using AppleScript is, at least to my knowledge, the only way to talk to Keynote. And that's completely okay for me, because this will have to run on a Mac anyways. Okay, so let's put this script here. Okay. I think this needs to go here. Oh no. Okay. Okay. I think the indentation is broken. Okay, let's see. I have no idea how important the indentation is. Okay, so the reason why I'm looking into that monitor is because that is where I see my task switcher. For some reason, it's not showing up on this one. Okay, so create slide deck. We're running the test script, attempting to communicate with Keynote. Come on. Application isn't running. Why? Why though? Why though? Okay, so we need to fix this first. So let's create a new chat here. I want to call Keynote via AppleScript from a Mac OS app. Show me the code. Show me the code. Okay, very polite, gathering my thoughts. Okay. OSA script, okay. Yeah, I remember OSA script. So we put together the script, we create a process, and oh, interesting. Yeah, why don't we try this? I mean, the other way didn't work, right? So go down here. And instead of opening a file, please create a new presentation. So have you guys used any vibe coding in your hobby projects or in your professional projects? I've used it to vibe code my my newsletter implementation. So that was entirely vibe coded using Cursor, and it was pretty impressive. I have no idea what's going on here because that's not what I wanted. Please change the script. I want the script to create a new presentation. Hello? Oh, I mean, here is a stop button. Stop. Did it stop? It didn't. Okay, what is going on? We'll just terminate this. Okay, so here we are. Okay. Yeah, vibe coding might not be the best term. I mean, to me as a non-native speaker, it doesn't feel as cringe-worthy, but I can see if you are a native speaker, then obviously that might have a different ring to it to you. Yeah, so this looks nice. Oh man, so for some reason it completely changed the code that for calling it. Anyways, we'll just tell it, please use OSA script for calling. Yeah, that's better. Yep. Okay. Let's take this, go back to Xcode, paste this. Here is the script. We get OSA script, we pipe the stuff over, and let's see if this works. I mean, if this doesn't work, we'll probably not get anywhere with our MCP server, because that is kind of like the basics of it. Application isn't running. Okay, I mean, like, let me open this. So, file, open recent, this one. Okay, so let's run this again. Application isn't running. How about some good old debugging? We get the task, pipe, okay, well, I wonder what this line is supposed to tell us. Any ideas? Yeah, that is a really good question. So maybe because we are in a sandbox, right? So what we can do is, let me so I think we're able to run this process, right? So this seems to be doing something. It's just a question, can it run the Keynote process? Let's try something. Okay, so let's ask it. So I wonder if my Mac OS app needs extra permissions to call Keynote. Let's see. Okay, so this part is about launching. Okay, so okay. So if this really exists, that might be a good point. Notarize. So we're not doing that yet. So we're running. Okay, let's try this one first. If your app is sandbox, you need to add the entitlement to your app entitlements file. Apple security automation Apple events key is true. Okay, so let's go here and then signing in capabilities and no. Scripting. So I will just create a random thing. So let's enable keychain sharing. Here's our entitlements file. And then let's add Apple events. Let's turn it to yes. Apple events entitlement. Yep. Great minds think alike. Thanks, Daniel. So let's see. No. Okay. Let's try something else. File, new project, command line tool, Keynote demo 2. Next, put it here, create. So main.swift. Let's run this to see if we get hello world. There we go. Good. So now let's take all of this code, put it here. And try to run it. Oh, we probably also need to call it. Okay, so this looks a lot better. I want to allow this. Ta-ta! Nice. Okay, so it did create a new Keynote file, and let's try this and run this once more. Yeah, perfect. Great. So we're getting somewhere. So we've established that we can call from Swift to Keynote. I should have used the command line application right from the start. So the next thing is we want an MCP server. So I mentioned my newsletter, and in the recent issue of the newsletter, I wrote about this article here. So Adam has written about building an MCP server in Swift. So let's take a look at that. So it's a very detailed article, and he explains all of the background. He links to a couple of examples, and so here's an interesting side note. The MCP Swift SDK that I had in mind, the one that was originally, or not originally, which was built by Matt Thompson, and I think he's still a contributor. That is the official MCP Swift SDK, and there seems to be another one. So if you're looking for MCP Swift SDK, there are two. So here's this. Here's one of them, and this is created by Guillaume Sabron, I guess. And this other one here is by Loopwork AI, and you can see that although the original URL was Loopwork AI, when I clicked on it, it went straight to Model Context Protocol Swift SDK. So this is now the official Swift SDK for MCP, maintained in collaboration with Loopwork AI, and here is Matt. So Swift Package Manager basic setup. So the basic setup seems to be somewhat straightforward. But the good news is we will probably have to do a lot less, because at the very end of this article, or was it somewhere in the middle, Adam says that here it is. I'm working on a bare bones template for building MCP servers in Swift on the Mac. I've started a repository which uses Loopworks AI's SDK, and my goal is to provide a simple, easy MCP server that manages the MCP server lifecycle. And that is what I think I'm going to use. So let's go here. This is the template that Adam built. So it, okay, so I'm trying to figure out how he expects us to use this, right? So is it just clone and then make changes, or is it MCP example? Here we go. We'll just clone it and then we'll have a look. Right. Code, GitHub repo clone. I want a terminal. Workspace, projects, Keynote MCP, code. Oh no, what was that? Oh, come on. projects. Okay, so we'll clone this, and then we'll just go in here. There is a package, so we can open it. Nope, I want to use set. Yes, please. So we can open this in Xcode. Yeah, here's a MCP example. So this would be that. So let's see what this does. So we have a command configuration, and we have a run command. Starts the MCP server. We've got the server. It registers signal handling so that it can gracefully exit if it receives a kill command, and so it will listen to sigint for being terminated, and then it registers a simple tool for saying hello world, and hello person is another tool apparently, and then hello everyone. Okay, nice. Okay, so let's run this and see what happens. While we're waiting for it to compile, can I please ask you to give me a thumbs up if you like what you've seen so far? It really helps. It sounds so cheesy, but it really helps. So here we go. Options, run. So apparently what we need to do is, thanks Franklin, what we need to do is pass an argument, run, and then see what it does. Okay, it's running. Great. So let's go to the Claude application and then see. So I would expect that it would register, right? So it still says 12 tools here, and these are all the tools that we've installed using IMCP. Oh, it's still working. Okay, time to read the README. Usage, command line usage. So clone or fork the repository, we did that. Run the package, run the tests, modify. We might, yeah, that was the next thing. I saw that they have MCP inspector, and yeah, Daniel, I think we need to figure out a way for it to, how to register it. Oh yeah, definitely. For numbers, it would be amazing. Let's see. Register. Let's go to NSHipster, because that is where Matt, the original author of the SDK, wrote about how to register an application. How do I start? So here's the IMCP application. Downloaded today. Well, let's see, because, oh no, that's not what I wanted. Okay, so let's see if this one says how to register. Activate, so download, connect to Claude Desktop, there we go. Settings. Okay, let's go to Claude. Where are the settings? Here we go. Okay, maybe that was it. How can we get out of the settings? No idea. Escape. Go back to the chat. Nope. Okay, I will close this and then start it up again. Allow. It's just... Okay. Let's go to the original SDK. So here is the SDK. And now let's see if it says how to register. Working with resources. No, it doesn't. That's unfortunate. I felt like we've gotten so far. So, special authentication, SSC, walkthrough. Okay. We will get the MCP inspector first. Let's do that. Running the inspector, but... Okay, so we can use npx to run this straight up. Okay, but we only want the first part. I'm guessing. Yes, I'm happy to proceed. You can't see that, right? Okay, so we've got our server running here. Now let's go back to Xcode, terminate this application and restart it again. I'm not sure, is it running? Okay. Okay, nothing seems to be happening. What's going on here? connect. This is frustrating. Oh, what's happening here? Okay. So let's make a little bit more. Wow, this is so many windows. Okay, this is here. Let's put this up there. Let's put this there. Let's put Xcode down here. Okay. So I'll restart the inspector. So it's running. No history yet. Need to make some space. Okay, so why is it in resources? And what's happening here? Okay, so when I click on connect, I get this message here. New SSE connection, query parameters, nfhome, args. Ah, okay, so I tried to send this command. I have Cisco. Oh, okay. Okay, let's look at this video. Okay, so this is from inside the chat application. I mean, this is... Yeah, this is... This is nice, but how can we connect? So he said the MCP example, command line and MCP template working. That is what we're running. I mean, we can try running it from a command line, but okay, so let's see. Command line example, MCP example hello or MCP example run. Swift build, no. All right, so it's building. And then, so once this has finished building, I will try to run this from the command line. And then maybe this will help us to connect, because maybe, so Looking at the MCP inspector homepage, where was that? Yeah, so running the inspector, it somehow seems that you would parse the path to the executable of your server. Yeah. Right? So because it says run the inspector, and then here is the application we want to run. So we're going to try that. So is this finished? Great. So okay. Good. So unexpected argument, hello. That is interesting because that is literally what the README says, right? Maybe it only can do this. Okay, good. So now we will add the command to run this inspector. Copy, paste. So inspector is running. I hope that, yeah, so this is the command. Okay, something is happening. Okay. Nice, so it's connected. Great. So MCP server started, list tools. Nice, so here are the tools. Let me see, is it large enough for you guys? I think so. So here are the tools, hello person, hello world. Let's do hello world, run tool. Hello iOS folks, MCP SDK is configured and ready. Nice. And we can see the history. That is pretty sweet. So we can see tools, tools calls, hello person. And then I can provide my name, run the tool. Cool. Nice. So we can connect this to the inspector. Why couldn't we connect it to Claude? Enable developer mode. Yep. Okay, so now let's see. No. Why, oh why? Here is our log file. Lots of stuff going on. but this all seems to be the IMCP server. Okay, so maybe it tells us how to register. There is a quick start for server developers. So, building your server, helper functions, implementing tool execution, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so running the server. Yep. So let's now test your server from an existing MCP host, Claude for Desktop. And then it, woohoo, okay, wow, really? You need to manually register the entire thing? I can't believe it. Really? Well, let's do it. Yep, apparently that is what you need to do. So, come on, here is code. So, wow. I mean, somebody should write a blog about this. What was this thing called? MCP example, right? Yep. Okay. So command, and then I think I saw the command in the MCP inspector. What? Yeah, but that is not, I need the absolute path. Oh, here is a nice trick. So I'll tell you a fun story. So I've been on macOS for a very, very long time. So I think the first Mac I used, that must have been in 2008 or something, I think. Yeah, around the time. And I came from Windows. And there were so many things on macOS that I didn't understand or that worked really weird, in a really weird way. So, and one time, and one thing that really I had a hard time understanding was Finder. So Finder looks very different from the Windows Explorer. There are a lot of things in Finder that are pretty strange. Even to this day, I think they're strange. And one of the things that's really hard in Finder is, or I thought was hard in Finder, is to copy the path, the full path, to a file or a folder. And I even bought a Finder replacement just for, well, not just, but for this feature and a couple of other features. So I spent a lot of money on a Finder replacement. And the cool thing is that Finder does support getting the path name of a file, right? So if you open the menu, it will show the menu, and then when you hold down the Alt key, you see that this stuff is changing. I didn't know that. I only found this out like maybe 5 years ago, I think. So you can go down, and then here is copy MCP example as path name, right? So boom, click that, and then you've got your path name. And we can use that in here. Bam. There's your entire path. All right, so let's see. We probably need to restart this thing. Claude. Yep. Okay. Stuff is happening. What is this? Unexpected token. Oh my God. Oh. Oh no. Let's try this again. Oh, wait. Oh, nice. So, seems like someone learned something today. Nice. Come for the AI and stay for the macOS tips, huh? Okay. So I think that maybe this thing is still running somewhere, and that might be a problem. Nope. Okay, so allow this, still those things here. And what is the problem here? Not valid JSON, unexpected token S. OUOS. Not valid. Subcommands. Okay, so it seems that I wonder if we can see it here. Yeah, okay, so this doesn't connect anymore. Okay, so there is more. Yeah, so because we need to pass the run parameter, so and run. No. Args. Nope. Do I need to put a comma? I do. Okay, and then it's just run. Okay. Restart Claude. This looks better. This looks better. 14 tools, yay! Yay, amazing. Nice. Okay, so we've got our 2 servers installed, and we've got 14 commands, and there should be hello person. Okay, so say hello to me. Well, say hello world. I don't know, like how can you force it to use those pretty trivial tools? Oh, let's go back and see what Adam did. So where is his blog post? Okay. Please run the hello world tool. Okay, so you need to be very explicit. Please run the hello world tool. Yeah, okay. So run hello world from MCP example, no input, allow for this chat. There's the result. Nice. Please run the hello person tool. So the hello person tool takes the parameter, and now let's see if Claude will say, please provide the parameter. Yeah, there you go. So please provide the parameter. It gives an example. Oh, let's try that again. Please run the hello person tool. Please, let's try this again. Please run the hello person tool and provide Peter as the name. Yeah, exactly. Try to tell it your name first. Yeah, okay, let's try that. So I'll use Daniel in your honor. Please greet Daniel using the hello person tool. Yep, there you go. Hello, Daniel. Nice. And I think there was another tool. Please use the hello everyone tool. Okay. I thought there was talk about it, but anyways. Cool, so we managed to register this. This is really nice. So what we can do now, so we've got our MCP example here. And then I'm just going to go in and I'm going to register a new tool, and we'll just try to create a new Keynote presentation. So how does it work? Register a simple tool with no input. I think that is a good start. Oops. Oh. Try await mcp.register. There is a tool. Tool and a handler. So in the tool, we need to provide the name and the description. Oh, you can even provide the input schema. So the name is Keynote. Description is opens the Keynote presentation app, and let's do that. Opens the Keynote presentation app. And then the input will be whatever. And we will need to return a result. Result. Content text up. As error false. From decoder. Call tool.result. Tool.content. Okay. Your wish is my command. And then we need to actually do this. So I'm going to just copy this entire thing. Go back into the template, and then I'll add this to the very end. Make new document. Yeah, let's keep it at that for the moment. Go back to our tool. Here we go. And then we need to rebuild this. Swift build. What? No. Okay. And I wonder if this picked it up. No, it didn't. Rerun Claude. 15 commands. Great. That means our command is in there as well. And Keynote. Let's see. Use the Keynote tool. Ta-ta! Wants to control Keynote. It's exciting. Let's see what happens. Bam! This is so amazing. This is so cool. Okay, so I feel this is going somewhere. All right, so we've been going for a little bit more than 1.5 hours. So I'm going to, I'm going to go for a little bit more. So let's go until we reach 2 hours. So I'm going to cut at 2 hours. I want to see if we can actually create slides, right? So let's try to do that. Let's try to achieve chatting with the tool and creating new slides. Let's try that. Because if we can achieve that, that would be so amazing. This is really exciting, guys. This is really cool. So, we are here. So, I think what we need is something to create a new slide. So, and we should probably, I mean, this is a lot of code here. So I'm going to refactor this a little bit. And we'll get some help. No updates. So please refactor the code in create new Keynote presentation and extract the code. Oh, what's happening here? The code for using OSA script. I think it would be good to have a class that uses a singleton to make it easier to use. Since we will be adding a couple of methods for interacting with Keynote. Let's see. Yeah, Keynote controller, that's good enough. Execute Apple script, yeah, that looks good. Create new presentation, yeah, nice. So this is really good. So what we will do is accept all. We've got our Keynote controller here. Execute Apple script. And wait. Ooh. Okay. Oh, so there is a really nice feature in an Alex. I think we can close this. So first of all, yeah, so it can fix your Swift 6 concurrency issues. Let's see. Accept all. Yeah. Nice. So we've got our Keynote controller, we've got the execute Apple script, and then we've got create new presentation. And now let's create a new function. So create a new function in Keynote controller for adding a new slide to Keynote. Hello? Still transcribing. Well, I haven't used this feature in a while. Last I used it, it did work. Yep. Nice. Let's do it. Add new slide. All right, let's see. So what? It even wants to add it to the server. That is pretty good. Nice. So, but first, this time around, let's see the code first. So add new slide. Tell the front document new slide, blah, blah, blah. New slide, your content here. Okay, so this looks good. Let's accept this. This is nice. And then look at this code. So it registers a tool for adding a slide. Let's accept this as well. Rebuild. Oh, what is happening? Warnings. Okay, I mean, we can try if it works, but I'm not entirely sure. Claude. So we now should have 16 commands if everything worked all right. Nope. There is no add slide, so it did work. Yeah, I mean, it's even here. Fix the error, please, for me. Okay. Nice. Okay. So I think that, let's look at the changes. Okay, async throws, nice, that makes sense. Accept those changes. And then what about these changes? Yep, that all makes sense. Okay, let's quickly build here. Build succeeded. I wonder, let's double check. So if I delete this and then I recompile in Xcode, build succeeded. Nope. So Xcode stores the build somewhere else. We have to run it here. Okay, so I'm really excited to see this. Also, while we're waiting for the compile, let me quickly check. Yeah, it doesn't take a parameter apparently. So that is something that we will have to add. Okay, so these are just warnings. Claude. "16 tools, nice. Add slide." So is Keynote still running? It is. So we've got an untitled presentation here. I'm just going to close this one. Okay, untitled. And I'm just going to insert this so we know that this is our presentation. So add a slide. Yep, allow for this chat. Boom, and there is our slide. Great. So add another one. Nice. This is so amazing. This is so cool. Add 3 more slides. Boom. That is so cool. Oh, by the way, did you guys know that there are emojis? Right? You can tap on the emojis and then get some reactions. So this is so cool. So the next thing is I want to be able to set the title of the slide, right? So let's go here. And we probably, let's take a look at this. So we need to provide an input schema, but since this has been going so well with Alex, I'm just going to ask it to do that for us, right? So MCP example, and let's just use voice typing. Can you please change the add new slide method? I want to be able to tell it the name of the slide I want to add, the title, and maybe even the contents. Can you add parameters for this, please? Let's see. Yep. Yeah, it's true. All of this is, it's a lot of dust in the air. At one point we'll want to clean this up. Okay, can you please change? Yep. Okay, let's see if it understood what I want. This is so amazing. And occasionally it says, and update the MCP tool registration to include this parameters as input schema. This is so crazy, you guys. I mean, like, let's see. So where is the tool? Oh, it hasn't changed yet. So first of all, let's look at the Keynote controller. So add new slide. We've got the title, we've got the content. It uses those parameters in the Apple script. So let's do that. And then go here. And let's look at the registration. So for the registration, it says, here is the add slide and here is the input schema. It's an object, properties, title, type, string. It's legit. Accept all. Oh, that's really interesting, Daniel. Yeah. So Daniel just said that using Swift JSON schema, you can define your JSON schema in Swift using a macro will match the generate the matching JSON schema. That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. So did it apply the changes? So this is something that I don't like in Alex. I have no idea how to close this window here because it did apply. So let's see. I'm just going to do this. No idea if that is what I was supposed to do. Let's rebuild. Okay, this looks good. Kill Claude and restart it. There must be a better way to do this. I mean, there should be a way to just refresh. Okay, so okay, so yeah, let's start easy. Add a new slide titled. So I'm going to be in Turin next week at Swift Heroes, and I'm going to give a talk about the Swift UI environment. So let's add a slide for what is the environment. Add a slide titled, what is the Swift UI environment? So it's going to be interesting because there are two parameters, a title and the content, right? But I'm just saying provide this one. Okay, it came up with the content. Allow for this chat. Let's see what happens. Oh, what? Okay, so there was an error. What happened there? Let's enlarge this. What is this line here? Oh, that is probably from Alex, right? Okay, so anyway, so here's the what happened. So title, what is the Swift UI environment? The Swift UI environment is a dependency injection system that allows views to access shared data without explicitly passing it through each view in the hierarchy. And that is a really good explanation. Yeah, exactly. I should totally vibe code my entire presentation. So it mentions the key features. So here's the error. Keynote controller error, syntax error, expected end of line but found prop. Okay. And then it somehow managed to find out what the problem was. I don't know what the problem actually was because this looks really very much the same. Yeah. I don't know. It looks literally the same. And then here is our slide. That is so cool. Okay, now, let's see. Let's see. New chat. I am going to speak at Swift Heroes next week. My talk is titled. Let's find the talk. Swift Heroes 2025. Accept all. Where are the speakers, sponsors? Speakers. So, where is yours truly? Here we go. Why every Swift UI developer should care about the Swift UI environment. Titled, paste. And the abstract reads please create a keynote presentation for my talk. Let's see. Allow for this chat. There is our presentation. What is this? This is wild. Okay, so it ran into errors. Oh, continued errors. What is going on? Okay. This is so crazy. Okay. Oh, okay. I need to wait until it finishes because it always goes to the last slide. This is wild. Okay. This is wild. Okay. Summary, closing slide, contact information. Unbelievable. Let's look at it. Okay. Okay, so we need to work on the presentation title, obviously. So, why every Swift UI developer should care about the environment, a deep dive into one of Swift UI's most powerful features, the underrated backbone of Swift UI. Okay, what is it? Yeah, that is really good. Defining environment values. Yeah, good. Good. Avoiding prop drilling. So prop drilling is something that is known in React and the React world. So basically it means you create something that you want to pass through and then you give it to the first view and then that view passes it to its child view, to its child view and to its child view. But sometimes you don't really want to have access to this value that you're passing through on the intermediate views, just on a very on the leave node, essentially. And using the environment helps you to avoid that. Yeah, so it explains it here. So practical example, theming, yep. Making views configurable. Hello? Oh, there we go. I'm so sorry. So, too much automation. Too much automation. So, I have a script that turns the camera off at 11 at night. So sorry. I should disable the script. But thanks for sticking with me. So before the sound and the camera went off, I said, apparently this design is horrible, and yeah, AI has eventually taken over control, although the script that turns off the camera is not AI. So this is horrible, and I think, with a little bit of effort, it should be possible to come up with a script that can create better slides and maybe even has an understanding of the layout. It probably depends to a large degree on how finely you can control what's going on a slide, right? So if we go back to this description here, I think this, right? So if we look at the slide class, there is a lot of detail that you can influence regarding a slide, right? So presenter notes, is it skipped, and so on and so forth. But it really depends on whether you can finally control where the elements on the slide are positioned, right? So let's see. Well, there you go. I mean, like, so yeah, text items, images, height, position. Yeah, so I mean, it seems you would have full control over anything that's on a slide. So now the question is, can you read a document? Document contains slides. Okay, let's go back. Let's go to the slide. Contains audio clips, charts, lines, movies. Okay, so it seems like you might be able to read what's on a slide, which is key to, modifying and moving stuff around. So yeah, why not? So I think you should be able to build something that is capable of designing nice slide decks. But I mean, I am really amazed. I mean, this is really just like add a new slide and create a new presentation. That was all that we needed, right? It's really amazing. Cool. And we're slightly over time with 2 hours and a bit. You all, thanks so much for sticking around with me for 2 hours. It was so much fun. I hope you had a lot of fun as well. You probably had, because otherwise you wouldn't have stuck around, or maybe you fell asleep on the keyboard. Who knows? Thanks for joining. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I think we'll do this again. I will be in. Well, I told you that I'll be in Turin next week. So next week there's not going to be a live stream because I will be in some hotel. And I don't know how the quality is. And even if the internet quality is good enough, there is not, the light is not good enough. And I need this giant monitor to run this live stream. But I'll be back the week after, and then we'll do something fun again. And I've also spoken with Antoine, if he'd be interested to come on and talk a little bit about Rocket Sim, and we could toy around with Rocket Sim, and he could show me a couple of features that I haven't been using, and would hopefully be interesting for you all as well. We haven't found a date yet, but this is definitely going to happen in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you in one of the next ones. So long. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.